those things on TV where you're like, oh, this is why I like wrestling. Very rarely do you have those moments at this age. At this age, you're just trying to appreciate what you can, and you're recording.
There were times back in the day where you had to watch Monday Night Raw. I mean, Monday Night Raw was on. It was the Attitude Era.
Because of Nitro, if you want to be honest. It was each week. It was like, what the hell is going to happen because of the nature of the business? What are they doing this week, you know?
Well, it's just so much. I mean, there's so many comparisons that you could make from the Attitude Era in our days where we were in our prime and loved watching pro wrestling to nowadays where I can't get myself through a 2-hour Raw. You know what I mean? I know.
Dude,
I have to
as soon as it starts,
myself,
I'm doing play-by-play. I'm waiting for it. I'm like, oh God, 2 hours of this. I got to get there. You know, and I feel like we're admitting too much right now because we're completely turning heel in this audience by being this audience. But it really is. Every week when Raw starts, as soon as the first segment starts, if it isn't good right off the bat, like some weeks it'll be good right off the bat, and I'll be like, all right. Let's watch a wrestling show this week. But other weeks they start off with a goat coming out of a limo and a grandma getting smacked in the ass, and you're like, fuck me, man.
Hornswoggle and Chavo and that stuff that's going on week after week after week. You know what I mean? I mean, TNA, I've got to give TNA credit. Maybe that's what I like. I was always trying to figure out why.
It is different. It's something different.
TNA is a little bit more edgy. They have, I'm not saying cuss words are great for a wrestling show, but they're a little bit more edgy. You know what I mean? As far as TNA's, I'm not saying the booking is great, but it's.
Yeah, but you're also got to understand we're conditioned to, as kids, even if you don't even remember it. I'm sure. There were days where you were watching a WWF show as a kid, like before you were really into wrestling in the Attitude Era. You were watching a WWF show, you'd see Hulk Hogan, or you'd watch WCW on TBS and you'd see Sting or somebody. You always had something different where it was a different flavor. It was the same product, same business, but it was a little bit different, even if it was very subtle differences in the companies. Nowadays, you're so ingrained in the WWE product that when you do watch TNA, and if you can get into it and really follow those storylines, it's something different. It's an alternative. Even if it's something different than WWE now, it's something you've already seen before, so it's not different in that regard. It's still a different product to follow than the one that you're forced to follow. It's still an alternative to what you're used to.
It's a little bit more edgier, man. TNA is a little bit more edgier than WWE is. Not completely PG. I mean, sure, I'm not saying TNA is great. TNA has their WWE moments, if you will, as well. You know what I mean? Their Chavo Guerrero and their Hornswoggle moments. But the majority of that Impact show, the backstage segments, I mean, there was a segment with Kevin Nash last week on Impact, which was unbelievably good, but it was directed towards the older fan. You know what I mean?
I bet you right now everybody on the internet said it was trash because they say that about anything Kevin Nash is involved with. The few times I've seen him at TNA, the fucking man still got it as far as verbal skills.
He had like whores coming into the room, right? I mean, he just had whore after whore coming in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's not traditional like wrestling. Like, oh, how does this make the title more important? Who gives a shit? It's fun to watch on TV.
Right.
You get involved. You care about what's being said as opposed to the same crap you're force-fed every year. This is actually a good topic. People are asking for calls now. Do we have any callers on the line? This is something they could probably chime right in on if you wanted to mix that in instead of talking right back to UFC.
Yeah, no doubt. If you guys want to call in and you want to, like right now we're comparing the Attitude Era with the era of right now and how much things have changed. If you were a fan back in the Attitude Era,
or now.
Or now. Obviously, they're a fan now if they're listening, but just call up and let us know. I mean, the changes. So much has changed in 10, 15 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back in the 90s. So
they say the business always reinvents itself. So I mean, we're watching that as we speak. You know,
well,
we have been.
And the problem is that Raw still draws above that 3.0 rating. You know what I mean? So it's not like anything's going to change. It's if people aren't forcing them to change, if ratings aren't dropping to an all-time low, I mean, they're not going to change what they're doing. They're going to continue this PG thing, continue to get that solid rating that they get every week. And I don't know. So a lot of people still do tune in, but I think they tune in because they're hoping, you know what I mean? They're hoping that maybe this week we'll get a little bit more edgy. Maybe something will change, or maybe that big moment will happen, and it never does.
There is also just that group of people that are just conditioned to like wrestling growing up as kids. I mean, as long as John Cena is being funny and making a belt that spins in circles seem cool, people are going to buy it, and that's going to make money, and the company's going to see the black ink instead of the red ink. and they're going to be, you know, oh, well, this works, let's do that. And as long as that works, the business isn't, I mean, I'm not sitting here giving you the speech saying wrestling's in trouble, because it's not at all. But, you know, the quality, it's definitely for a different generation than what me and you grew up on. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
724-444-7444, call ID number 30273, followed by the pound key if you want to call us up, talk about this subject, Attitude Era versus the era of right now. Callie, you're live on WZR Radio. What's up?
Hey, what's happening, you guys? You know, I was listening to you guys, and yeah, it is different, the Attitude Era. I remember a while back when they had Bret Hart versus like Stone Cold Steve Austin, little feud, and it was a live, I think it was at Raw, it was live. And I had my TV turned up real loud. If you listen to it real close, I remember the one time, like, Brett, he was, like, in the corner, like, holding his leg. And Stone Cold had, like, a chair, was, like, looking at him and hollering at him and hit him in the leg. And Brett was saying, oh, that hurt, you piece of F, like, F you, Stone Cold, F you. And he would hit him in the leg again. Say, what you call me? What you call me? He said, you heard me, you piece. You know, it was
real.
Yeah. It was real, yeah. And he was like, oh, man. It was looking like he was really holding his leg. And Stone Cold kept hitting him in the knee over and over again with the chair. You could hear Bret Hart cussing him out. But that's when he had competition. Now he has no comp. He bought ECW, bought WCW. So he's like, well, what the hell? I got nothing else to do. So he's doing, I think that's why he's doing what he's doing now, because nothing else to do for WWE.
Well, advertising is also a lot harder to get right now. I mean, the economy is horrible right now, and you're trying to please your advertising, and a lot of times the attitude and the cussing and that stuff, the more edgier stuff, with the tits in the ass and the
yeah, but that's all direct result of competition too. I mean, advertising back then was probably no cakewalk either. I mean, they had the Vince Russo had the problems with the standards and practices in WCW, and the WWE had right to censor to screw with the censors that they had. They had the same thing, but they were forced to push the envelope because of the competition. If the competition was pushing them, they're running faster with somebody chasing them than they are while they're leading the pack. You know what I mean? Right now they're leading the pack. They got nobody chasing them. They've lapped TNA 300 times already. They're not even worried about them in that race. But the second somebody is on their ass and saying, "Hey, you better start running faster, bitch, because I'm right here on your shoelaces," that's when you see them pull out all the stops, and that's when they throw caution to the wind, regardless of what advertisers accept, what the advertisers don't accept. It's just right now, I think they're just so comfortably in the lead, and they have nobody forcing them to change the shit we see every week,
Yeah, Matt making sense, because, like, let's just say TNA next month will got 2.5 every Impact for a month straight. This is like, what the hell? And then before you know, I bet you PG will be 14. He might even call it The Rock or something. He might get him or get more of the people because he has competition, but no comp. He's like, what's the point? He's acting like a little kid, and, sit there and the trainer was acting, telling him tired jokes. And he's funny, but he wasn't funny to me on Raw. I mean, Santino maybe, but, it's no comp. Oh, a couple quick questions. About Lillian, so what? Is she going to do the nasty business now or what? Because I do have a couple of flicks. I have like a nasty flick of Gail Kim and I want Trish Stratus. So is she going to do the nasty thing now? She's leaving WWE or what?
Did he just say, is he talking about wrestlers that do porn, and he said he's got a nasty flick of them?
Yeah, I don't know if I can say porn
nasty
on air.
Flick?
He said it. You said it first, I guess I can't say it. Are they going to do it? Because I do have them right now on my computer.
You have the Gail Kim nasty flick.
Yeah, she got it.
Okay.
Porno, Trish Stratus, she got all that. But is she going to? She looks real good. Like she might do that next. She going to do that next, or
who are you talking about, Ryan?
Lillian Garcia.
Oh, Lillian Garcia! Come on, no.
Oh, okay.
Listen, the Trish Stratus video is
that's like a hose, right, and a T-shirt or something.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, I heard that was fake back in the day. I know Gail Kim has the topless photos, which are real. Lillian Garcia is going to do some stuff with singing. I'm going to try to come out with a CD or an album. No, she's a goody.
She's cookie cutter. You ain't got to worry about her doing that. Nasty. You ain't got to worry about her appearing in any nasty flicks, as he calls them.
The porno, some soft porn. But okay. But the wrestling questions. I have one wrestling question. ROH, they're losing two of their major stars. You think they're going to end up folding because of losing Danielson and McGuinness, or they're getting overlooked at and keep going on? Well,
they're losing two major stars, but I mean they're also making new stars. I mean Tyler Black, Austin Aries is your world champion right now. I mean they're making stars. There's guys. Bryan Danielson cut a promo. I saw a YouTube video of it at the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla show, where basically he put over Davey Richards as the next big guy. So you're going to lose two guys.
You also look at Ring of Honor 5 years ago. Who the fuck was Nigel McGuinness and who the hell was Bryan Danielson? I mean, they were indie guys that had a reputation of being good workers. They weren't stars. They're still not stars, if we're being really honest. Ring of Honor sells based on being Ring of Honor. You go there, you expect a certain kind of wrestling, a certain kind of atmosphere, a certain kind of, production. That's why you go to a Ring of Honor. You don't go because, Bryan Danielson is in the main event. I mean, if he's not in the main event, some other guy you've never heard of who they tell you is the greatest wrestler in the world will be in the main event, and you'll learn that he's the greatest wrestler in the world, and you'll go to his, it doesn't make a difference.
The problem with Danielson and McGuinness going to WWE, I mean, I think McGuinness can be a standout star if they give him the right push. As far as Danielson is concerned, I just see him as another jobber on ECW or somewhere like that. Obviously, they're going to tell both of those guys to slow down their style. It's not going to be the same Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness that you're used to seeing if you've ever been to an ROH show.
Yeah, CM Punk coming over.
Yeah, it's not going to be those same guys. They're going to have to adjust their style. It's going to be a totally different league. I mean, WWE is not going to let them go out there and bust ass like they do in Ring of Honor. I mean, it's going to be a lot more scripted. Ring of Honor isn't scripted. Those guys go out there. Obviously, it's scripted, the winner of the match, but those guys go out there and just tear each other down for the entire match.
Yeah, that's
true. So it's going to be a completely different Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, they got to learn a TV style of working as opposed to pop the live crowd as much as you can.
Yeah.
I remember I seen, it's like CM Punk on YouTube on ROH. I mean, he was
different guy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Different guy altogether.
Yeah, I said, this can't be CM Punk. And he was being fighting somebody unbelievable. Or I even watched the WSX over and over again on YouTube with Matt Seidel when he fought Jack Evans and hit the 630 splash. I was, oh, my God. The flips, both of them were hit.
The deal with Matt Seidel is, Evan Bourne, he's now Evan Bourne in WWE. Yeah. But, they've let him go out there and do the moonsault off the top ropes, and they've let him go all out. I mean, there's certain guys that they'll let do that.
And they build him up on announcing every week when he gets in the ring. Michael Cole says, it's a real treat to see this guy wrestle. Like, they really build him up as their, their ace player.
Look at Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson doesn't have the WWE look. I mean, that guy he looks like like a William Regal or something like that.
They could always get over like Regal, too, because Regal's got like a real unique style of offense. If he wasn't such an old druggie that, his body's past his prime, if he could fly the way Evan Bourne does, but have that unique style the way he does, and that's kind of what Danielson and McGuinness has. So, I mean, it depends on how they structure their style to the WWE atmosphere, but it's definitely going to be a different version of what you're used to seeing in Ring of Honor, no doubt.
Right, it'll be a completely different version of both of those guys, and it's not. I mean, if you're a fan of high flyers and things like that, it's not. You're not going to see that with those two guys in WWE. Nigel McGuinness, I believe, has the potential to be a standout star in WWE.
See, those are the kind of guys you think should go